Hi. Back here again to talk about some dolls. I have to say it has been a very abundant new year in terms of dolls, but Toy Fair did just happen and we got some new announcements from there along with a bunch of other stuff, so we have quite a lot to talk about, even though it hasn't really been that long since the last time I made one of these. Not that I'm complaining, I mean, that's what I'm here for, to sit in this pink chair and judge a bunch of little plastic women. If I want to be topical and pop culture relevant, you could say I'm like the Tyra Banks of fashion dolls with, like, I don't know, 10% less sociopathic tendencies. But hey, I'm just here to let these dolls know how tough the industry really is. And if they want to make it, they need to be willing to do anything. But anyways, hi, hello, how are you today? I hope you are having a wonderful, divalicious week. I have not been, but that's beside the point. It'll be a new week soon, and a new week means new dolls. Oh, I almost forgot my spiel. Hold on. If you happen to be new here, this is a series I like to do every now and again where I just go through over all the new upcoming releases in the fashion doll world. I say yay, I say nay, or I say meh. I just give my own personal opinions, but I think that's enough of the intro there, so let's go ahead and get into it. We always start with my girl Barbie, and we have some pretty interesting things to talk about with Barbie this time around, starting with, let's talk about the new wave of Barbie deluxe style, wave 4. They're cute. They're all right. They're not the best we've seen from deluxe style, but also not the worst. It's been like, what, two years since this line was introduced, about that. And I still feel like we're just teetering on the edge of a new, better aesthetic for Barbie. Like, you got the pink, you got the sparkles, you got the heels and the makeup, but there's just this reluctance to let go of all these things that are still holding Barbie very firmly in 2016. Like, we don't need more high-waisted peplum skirts. We don't need more Millie. We don't. And we absolutely, definitely, decidedly, unquestionably do not need to see a velour top paired with a ruffled pleather skirt. Like, you're on the threshold of making some really, really cute dolls, Mattel. Just step over it. Just take the leap. It can't possibly be that scary to look at, like, what's actually trendy these days. It can't be. But speaking of deluxe style, and also speaking of being trapped in 2016, we have the Barbie deluxe style fashion build-up doll. Named as such because of the extra hands she comes with, I assume. The extra hands are cool. That's cool. I like that. Everything else, no. It's an absolute no. No amount of color-changing hair can save this travesty. This is just awful. There's, like, not a single good outfit piece. God, this is so bad. This looks like they went digging around that design room for discarded scraps until they found enough to make a complete doll with. Extra additional hands is such a cool feature for a Barbie, especially, at the playline level. So I don't know why they chose such an awful doll to introduce this feature with. Like, save it for one people might actually want to buy. Moving on, though, one more playline release from Barbie, the new wave of Barbie Basics, the neutral-themed line. We previously saw the You Create kits, but these are just the standard dolls in the line. And they are overall not very interesting to me, but, like, I'm so far outside of the target audience for these that I don't even mean that in a very critical way. because I don't like the Barbie made to move body. I don't like very neutral nude color schemes typically, and I don't like buying Barbies specifically to redress or rebody them. Like, I very much prefer buying a complete doll. So these are simply just not for me, and that's okay. To just judge what I see, though, I don't know. I just feel like something is lacking, and it's kind of difficult to put my finger on, I guess. But when you think about the original Barbie Basics line, yes, the outfits are pretty simple, but you get the impression that they meant basic and like basic wardrobe staples, just your little black dress or jeans, etc. Simple outfits, but complete ones. These feel more basic in the most literal sense. Like, they know people really aren't buying these dolls for the outfits, so they're not really putting much effort into them, which is fine, I guess, but they're definitely not dolls that I want to buy. So, next we have the Fantastical Realms Barbie signature doll. So this one was chosen from a fan vote. The options were Goddess, Fairy, and Alien, and Goddess won. So this is the doll we got. Or won't get. We'll get there. There's things I like about her. Like, I don't think she's a bad design at all. There's something about her that gives, like, very, very 90s Barbie in a way that's very classic and very charming. But that's also sort of the problem, right? Like, this whole doll could easily be a Barbie from, like, 1998 and would cost $30 at most. But Mattel Creations wanted to price her at 100 doll hairs. And I'm sorry, that's just too much. That's asking way too much for what you get from this doll, point blank. I don't even think I need to say much else, and there's not really any need to, because Mattel canceled this release, or rather postponed it in a way. Anyone who ordered her got a refund, and they put out a statement saying that they were aware that she didn't really meet expectations, so they're going back to the drawing board. Which to me says that no one bought this doll, or at least not enough people bought her to justify the manufacturing costs. Because if reception was bad, but people still bought the doll, I don't think Mattel would care. So that tells me that this doll must have sold really poorly. I don't think they've ever really done anything like this. To which I say, deserved. Totally deserved. I'm glad Mattel got the message, and I hope that it means that they'll put more thought into their products in the future. Not only just in design, but in pricing too. Because I know I've talked at length about this again and again and again, but selling subpar quality products for these collector prices simply is not sustainable, not in this economy. But here's another flop to talk about, the new Bob Mackey Pink Glamour doll, which is our first signature collection Bob Mackey doll in quite a while. We had the holiday dolls, but this is the first signature doll in, I don't know exactly, 80 years. Chop. Absolute chop. This is sad. If there was ever a perfect visual, an example of how far Barbie has fallen from grace, this is it. Just look at literally any Bob Mackey doll from the past, any of them, and they absolutely devour this doll. Bob Mackey has been responsible for some of the most iconic dolls in Barbie history. This one just looks so monumentally underwhelming that it feels insulting. And it is insulting, kind of, to charge 125 doll hairs for this doll. And I want to be clear, I do not blame Mr. Mackey. He's an incredible, legendary designer, obviously. And he's done some amazing Barbies over the years, so I know for a fact he's more than capable of designing a doll. But I just wonder if, like, he found himself working within Mattel's limitations and they were unable to bring his vision to life in the way it deserved to be. Because you look at the box and the sketch on it, the sketch of that doll is gorgeous. And you can tell that, like, across the dress, there was supposed to be some very intricate beading and details like that, but Mattel chose to give her this doll, the cheapest, ugliest little glitter stamps, and it just looks awful. It looks so cheap. This doll is a disaster. She has a very lovely face, though. I do love her screening. Unfortunately, it's not enough to save this travesty of an outfit. Oh, Mattel, when I catch you. Next, though, we've got some stuff from Disney to talk about. First, some new dolls from Disney Illy Forever. They're still going strong. And they're releasing these, they're called closet sets, and they actually come with 3 complete outfits, which is really cool. That's one release for Stitch and one for Minnie. They both have really good outfit pieces. Both are very solid releases. I just have to complain a little because we've had so many Stitch themed dolls. We've had so many Minnie dolls too. Disney, Illy Forever, I'm just begging you at this point to please choose some different characters. The possibilities are truly endless. And the fact that we have yet to get a doll based on Marie or Tinkerbell or Alice in Wonderland, it's crazy. Fix it. Do better. No, it's not that big of a deal because the dolls are still really good. I just think there's some more room for creativity, that's all. Next, a new Disney Princess line from Mattel, the Sparkling Princess series. These are Playline, retailing for, I saw $32. And although it's going to have more characters in it, so far we only have images of Cinderella, Jasmine, and Belle. And I think they look pretty good. Really good, actually. The price is definitely a little steep, definitely pushing it. But when I heard Mattel had regained the Disney Princess license forever ago, these are the dolls that I envisioned when I imagined, new Playline Disney princesses. And I'm not entirely certain why it took this long to get them, but better late than never, I guess. The outfits are good, but the faces are definitely the best part for me. They look so lovely and pretty accurate too. They look very recognizable, which you'd think would not be a very high bar, but these get a thumbs up from me. I really like them. I can't wait to see Ariel. I'm kind of hoping that they have her in a dress rather than her mermaid form. Ideally both, but I actually just want to see more Ariel dolls in a dress, personally. Next, a new release from Wicked, the Wicked Get Ready doll sets with Glinda and Elphaba. These are very loosely based on the Emerald City scene from the first movie, judging by the little smocks, and each has a particular gimmick. So Glinda, her makeup and the butterflies on her dress change color, and Elphaba, she comes with hair extensions and she has color-changing fingernails. I do not care for these. They're very gimmicky and very obviously aimed towards kids. I get that, but I just don't care for them. For as much as I loved both of the movies, I really yet to see a single Wicked doll that I very truly and genuinely loved. Mattel really dropped the ball on this whole line, especially if they want to keep it going and keep releasing Wicked dolls like their Disney princesses. They have to do more than this. They have to do better than this, or this IP is not gonna stick around as nearly as long as they think it will. Alright, next, this is pretty exciting. We have our first looks at the upcoming K-pop Demon Hunters doll line from Mattel, the Playline collection. There's a whole lot of products coming from Mattel actually, but we'll just focus on the dolls. And they look really good. I am actually really very pleasantly surprised. I thought that the made-to-order collector dolls from a few months ago were pretty alright, just a little expensive, but these look really good. Something to keep in mind is that K-Pop Demon Hunters is not a movie that was made with dolls in mind, so the character designs were not made to be easily translatable to dolls. Inevitably, some details were going to get lost in the process because the characters they have so many of these really small, complex details, but I do genuinely think that Mattel did an excellent job in turning these girls into dolls. There are some printed on details here and there. I see them on Rumi's shorts and in Zoe's top. Some fake pockets and fake zippers, which is never really ideal. But like I said, we were probably never ever going to get fully screen accurate K-pop Demon Hunter dolls without some sacrifices. Even with these printed on details, I still think they look really, really well designed. Especially the faces. I love the faces. The sculpting and the screening work for these dolls is absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait for them. I don't know if the price is fully confirmed, but I've heard $27, which I think is pretty fair. So in addition to the main 3 dolls and Jinu, there's also a line of singing dolls. They're in their golden outfits. These also lack the extra articulation, and they have much simpler, less executed outfits, but are for some reason more expensive. I've heard that these are priced at $32 each. So unless something changes, which could happen, that's definitely a weird decision. These are an easy pass for me, though. The main 3, they look so good that I don't even need these. And also, there's a doll of Rumi in her outfit from the bathhouse scene. This one is considered a deluxe doll, and it's priced at $53. And she looks good. She looks really good. Price is pushing it. It is, again, pushing it, so I don't know if I need her, but I'm just really happy overall with this line. This whole video is just like the epic highs and lows of Mattel. The Mattel giveth and the Mattel taketh away. But from one big high to one very, very big low, I guess we have to talk about the new American Girl collection. The historical girl modern era collection. Very timely given the video I literally just put out. You can really only imagine how vindicating it was seeing these. And tragic. It was also tragic. I hate these. I'm sorry. I hate them. And I'm not even really hating on the dolls themselves. It's just what they stand for, what they represent, which is Mattel choosing very pointedly to move away from a place of history and education to appeal solely to this nostalgia marketing, to fall back on the goodwill of the American Girl brand and its legacy without actually doing anything to further that legacy. Which, yes, I know sounds very dramatic, but this is something I feel very strongly about. But also, to talk about the dolls themselves, I don't like them. I guess the outfits are cute. Like, they do have some nice looks. But they should just not exist. They should just not exist. And I cannot fathom why on earth they would choose to use the Welly Wisher, or I guess the AG sister's body, which is like significantly smaller than a regular American Girl. It's almost a different scale entirely. So you can't like buy a modern day Samantha to display with your regular historical Samantha. They don't even look like they belong together. They look like they are from an entirely different species. Everything about this entire release is confusing and weird and a little nightmarish. I hate it. They even put a tobacco field on the back of Addie's box, which I understand it's because it comes from her books, but it should have taken anyone with even the most cursory surface level knowledge of American Girl to know not to do that. This shouldn't have happened, and it really just shows how little thought and care went into these. Oh, and also they're $90 each. Pass. Absolutely not. Okay, reaching the end of my list here, we just have some things from Monster High now. First is the new Skeletor release from Beetlejuice, featuring Miss Argentina and the Magician's Assistant. Full disclosure here, I am not even a little bit qualified to judge this set, because I have not seen Beetlejuice, and I do not even know the characters that these are referencing. But the set is $100 and is still currently in stock at the time of me filming this. I guess they're okay. I'm glad that they got more use out of that Monster High body that splits in half. That was clever. I'm sure that they make a cute display, but I have no desire to buy them. Also, if I can complain about something, it's the shoes. We have to stop with these object heels. We have to stop. It's getting out of hand. I'm sorry, there's just nothing like particularly fun or clever about these. They're just regular shoes with like some random object glued on the back of them. I think we need to go back and revisit what made Monster High shoes in the years of G1 so iconic and beloved, which is that the heels were creatively designed and incorporated into the shoe. Again, like, I don't know the character, but a magician's assistant having heels that are a top hat and a saw, it's just so literal. Let's get a little more creative here. I think everyone would appreciate that. Okay, last but not least, Monster High Moonspell High, which to my understanding is a line of new characters in a school centered around witchcraft. But it isn't a spin-off in the way that Ever After High was. This line is still technically under the Monster High label, and it isn't its own full thing, which makes me a little apprehensive, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, these are definitely quite divisive. I saw a lot of varied reactions to them. Some people really hated them. Now, for me, honestly, I'm not mad. When I heard for the first time that Monster High G3 was doing a line of witches, this is almost exactly what I expected it to look like. Like, they look almost exactly what I pictured in my head, and I'm still not entirely sure if that's a good or a bad thing. I do wish we had a more varied aesthetic, for sure. Like, every girl is wearing the same hat. Every girl has pretty much the exact same 2012-esque Tumblr witch aesthetic, which I don't even think is a bad aesthetic, mind you. I just think some more variety would have been nice. Like, witchcraft, just the concept of it exists in so many different cultures, in so many different walks of life. I think maybe it would have been a good opportunity for this line to have even almost an educational aspect, with characters from like all over the world with their own practices, rather than just this one single depiction of witchcraft, if that makes any sense at all. But I do like the diversity here. I always love to see more ways to be inclusive in doll lines. I really like the different face molds. I think there's a lot of potential here. Like, when I think back to when G3 first came out, the dolls were not all the way there. It needed some time to come into itself, and we've gotten some really great lines since then. So if Mattel is willing to let this particular line grow and experiment a little, I think it could be something really great. As it is, it's just kind of, it's cute, but I don't think it's going to be shaking up the toy aisle, you know? It could be a lot better. But I do think the foundation is there, and I think it can go to some really cool places. My favorite is definitely Karina. Yes, the pink one. I'm sure this comes as an incredible shock. I actually think her outfit is so cute. Everyone else is just kind of middle of the road for me, or in the case of Layla, they're kind of actively poorly designed. Sorry, that outfit is not it. And no more translucent boots. No more. No one wears those. Enough. But I definitely see myself picking up Karina, at least. And that is everything that I had on my list for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. It is, of course, now your turn to go down there in the comments and tell me all of your thoughts. Tell me which dolls you're most excited for, which ones you're getting, which ones you might have already got, and also which ones you're not getting, because I do support being a hater, as long as you keep it civil and you keep it cute. But when you're done with all that, just be sure to like and subscribe for any future fashion doll content. Now go out and get those dolls.